The Black wealth gap is widening. We're discussing real tools and strategies to tackle it. This is about control. Education today to make a real difference tomorrow. Get prepared for unplanned expenses. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Black.Wealth.Empowerment. I'm your host, Leslie Batson of Rebel Rock Wealth, and I'm joined today by my friends Jami Coleman and Chae Dobson from Compass Tax Advisors. And hi, ladies.
Hi, Leslie. Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome. So today's video is going to be a little different. We wanted to discuss a topic that really anyone can relate to. Initially, we started having this discussion because of a video that went viral very recently. This is February 2020, we're talking here. A video that went viral, and I will show it in a minute. But this was someone who was injured at work in this case. And many of us can relate to that circumstance. If there's any type of unplanned circumstance where our income or our revenue is interrupted, the point of this discussion is to discuss what can we do in those circumstances, right? Unplanned, unforeseen circumstances are going to happen. So how can we prepare for those ahead of time, right? Okay, so we'll just take a quick pause. I'm going to show you the video and we'll be right back. Okay, so this was obviously an example of an exotic dancer on a pole, fell from the pole. You can't quite tell from the video because she continued to perform, but she actually broke her jaw. She had some disfigurement, and now there's been a GoFundMe that's been started for her to try to cover her medical bills and that type of thing. So let's just say this in unison, ladies. No more GoFundMe. Okay. So one of the main reasons that I wanted to create Black Wealth Empowerment is so that we have resources, we have information, and we have strategies and tools to make sure that we can plan for unplanned events, unexpected events, unforeseen circumstances. That means that things that could happen at any point in time. We want to make sure that we have money put away so that we can tap into it to be able to continue our lifestyle or take care of medical expenses or whatever it is that we need to do in the event of something like this. Now, obviously not many of us are in that same industry, but again, you could be a doctor and injure your hand, or a surgeon injure your hand, or you could just be in a car accident. Something could happen that could interrupt your ability to generate income and revenue. So ladies, I'm going to just open this discussion. So in this particular example, the friend started a GoFundMe account. What is one option or one solution that if this person had put this in place could have prevented having to go to a GoFundMe? I'll start with you, Jami.
That whole video is so hard for me to watch, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen it since it's gone viral. But our hearts obviously goes out for this young woman, and I'm glad that you put this conversation in this context, that this could happen to any one of us no matter what our profession is. It just so happens that this video has went viral, and it makes us think about our clients that are entrepreneurs, that maybe they're barbers, maybe they're mechanics, maybe they're the DJ or rappers, and they're in the entertainment industry or they're in the beauty and health industry, and they don't have adequate life insurance policies. They don't have life insurance policies. We'll just keep it all the way real.
Right.
I send my clients to financial planners like yourselves, and they never follow up. And something as simple as having like a life insurance policy, whole life insurance policy that can accumulate cash, AFLAC, some type of disability insurance, short-term, long-term disability. These types of financial planning tools can assist people in the event that an unforeseen event happens. And we say unforeseen, but we're also talking about any life-changing event that can
Right.
interrupt your cash flow, like getting pregnant, whether it's planned or unplanned. But, certainly when you're in an accident or you fall from a job or whatever the situation may be, so even an accident that's not even related to your employment, if it interrupts your ability to make money, then you need to consider having these plans before that stuff happens, right?
Yep.
Um, and so when we see things like this and we see that, she's had to set up a GoFundMe to take care of her medical bills, it's a little it's unfortunate to us because,
Mhm.
in our heads, we think, well, she's making, hopefully she's making good money in her chosen career. Why hadn't you thought about, setting up some type of planning tool or having some type of planning tool that could assist you in the event that, something traumatic like a fall could happen? She looks very young. Um, she looks healthy. Life insurance policies for our young people, whole life is not as expensive as it would be for someone who's a little older and may have health issues. And so, in this uh, current culture that we live in, where we value what it appears to look like versus what it really is, I would encourage our young entrepreneurs, our bosses, to invest in some tools that could potentially help their lives in the future.
Absolutely. Chae?
And, yeah, and to even, to play devil's advocate and as well as piggyback off of some things you said, Jami, when we talk about our exotic dancers or our barbers, hairstylists, those people who are paid, cash, they really don't, if they pay taxes or have a tax return, they're not reporting all their income. I just hate to say that, but sometimes it's going to benefit you to go ahead and report your income and implement strategies where you can put back some of that income to benefit you in times like this. You talked about the whole life. And in addition to that, I'm just going to assume, even though I know that exotic dancers in this situation, they are, some states are requiring them to be employees. Some states are still allowing them to be independent contractors. And side note, I believe it's my recommendation that they should be fighting to remain independent, because I still believe that the characteristics that the IRS looks to as an independent contractor, that they could still fall within that, because by being classified as an independent contractor, you are a business. Therefore, you get to do things that businesses are able to do, such as plan for retirement.
Mhm.
Let's just say this exotic dancer makes $300,000 a year, which is not outlandish, and they report this 300,000. But let's just say, in addition to some life insurance planning, they implement a solo 401k. By implementing this solo 401k, they can put back 2020, I believe the limit is 57,000 into a solo 401k, where they're not taxed on that 57,000 that they're able to put in for 1 year. They can do this year after year after year. And then, for example, in a case like this, she could have borrowed from her 401k to take care of herself while she's out and not able to work, or assist in paying for some of those medical expenses. And borrowing from your 401k, I believe you have to pay it back within 6 years or something like that.
5 years, yeah.
The 5 years. So, and you're paying interest to yourself. So that's why I say being a business, she could have implemented some things like that. And then while, you have your solo 401k, she could be investing into, some alternative types of assets, such as real estate. So, so she still could be growing that money. So within that first year, she still could have had more than that 57,000 inside of, that account. Also, if she would have had an accountable plan, in her business, of course, if she was a corporation, some of those medical expenses could have been reimbursed if she would have had a medical reimbursement plan in place with her business. So that's why there are some strategies by being a business, even if you're an individual, you're able to do. And that's why I always err on the side of, if you're able to be classified as a 1099 and it's a lucrative type of position, you're better off as being a business. Because also remember, the 2018 Tax Cut and Jobs Act eliminated unreimbursed employee expenses, which I have seen this hit a lot of people hard, because they were, these are expenses that you pay out of pocket, especially if you were in sales or whatever. You're not able to deduct those anymore or expense those. And if you work for an employer, it's up to that employer to create a reimbursement type policy. They don't have to. So the only way you're able to write these things off is if you had a business now, because they are ordinary and necessary business expenses. So I just want to encourage cash businesses that have a lot of cash coming in and out their hands to account for it, because you're able to implement awesome strategies by doing so. So don't be afraid, but make sure you get a awesome tax professional to assist you, preferably a tax attorney such as myself, to assist you with this planning, because you want to make sure that it's done properly and that you're implementing strategies that's going to benefit you in the long run. So, because you think about it, even an exotic dancer, they're the span of, from start to when their career ends is a short span.
Yes, a short window. Yeah.
A short window of time, but you're making a lot of money. You can, even within the short span of time, you can say, I'm just going to retire. After this, or, I have built up, some alternative assets. I have 3-4 properties inside of my 401k or my IRA that is paying me, it's paid, well, not paying me, but
it's growing
income. I'm making income in there for, when I retire. So, it's just a lot of planning that they should be doing, and don't have to hide the money.
And just as a practical sense, we talked about some financial planning tools, we talked about some tax saving strategies if you're a business, but practically speaking, and this is always debatable whenever there's a presidential election, is Social Security. Will it be around by the time we're ready to retire, right? But it's still here. And while you're making all this cash, you could be reporting it and paying self-employment taxes or payroll taxes and earning credits for Social Security. So in the event that you go to retire, that can also be used in planning for your retirement, So you've got all these other financial assets that you've built up over time, be it a short window or a long window. Well, then you've also earned the ability to retire using the ability to plan using your Social Security. And what our cash taxpayers, those taxpayers that get a lot of cash in, don't understand is that, but also, when you go to buy a home, they want to see your tax returns, when you go to get that new car, they want to see your tax returns. And so you've got to be able to report that cash and change your mindset about it. It's really a benefit for you in the long run and not necessarily a detriment for you right now.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes. And I think that no matter what area you work in, if you can start to think of yourself as a business, or how you can transition into being a business versus an employee, that mindset, that's the first shift that you need to start to make. because then you will really start thinking of things differently. You will start thinking of being proactive and accumulating capital or savings, however you want to think of it. And you will start thinking about, how do I optimize my taxes? I don't want to pay more than I need to, but I want to make sure that I'm, secure and protected in the areas that I need to. So just like you touched on, Jami, who knows if Social Security will be around? But if it is, you're not going to be entitled to it if you don't pay into it, right?
That's right.
But if you really are looking to be able to keep your money private, and you don't want to necessarily have to, well, let me just say, you want to optimize your taxes at this time in 2020. This is my opinion. My opinion is that this is probably the lowest that taxes are going to be in our lifetime. So, do you want to think about, do you want to pay your taxes today, or do you want to pay them later, right? So there's great tax saving. So the strategy that Chae just talked about, you can get a solo 401k, and that's going to allow you to save taxes up front today. You're going to just defer paying income taxes till later. Or you could do something with a whole life policy where you're putting those premiums and putting that extra money into that policy today, and you've already paid the taxes, so that's going to grow. So there's different strategies that the three of us obviously could share, and that could be a whole webinar. But so if you want to learn more about those kind of savings or strategies with whole life policy, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm Leslie Batson. But if people want to reach you, Chae or Jami, how can they reach you to learn more for tax planning?
Yes. So before I get into how they're able to reach me, I also want to just point this out.
Yes.
Tax evasion is illegal.
Absolutely.
But tax avoidance is not. So
Correct.
when you said paying your fair share, you're able to implement, strategies to only pay your fair share. You can avoid paying taxes, using the code to your advantage. So, so that's what tax planning is. So, and also remember, it's a business expense. So it's not like, you're paying out of pocket, but you get to expense 100% of, the services of a business professional with putting you a tax plan together, putting you a financial plan together, and, being able to implement things year after year. But you can always reach us at mycompasstax.com. You can reach me at Chae.Dobson at mycompasstax.com. You can also give us a call at 850-273-7193.
All right, that's great. Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
This is another great topic. All right, so we will chat again soon. Thanks. Bye.